Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. And today's video, topic that I wanted to discuss is on anger and the meaning of this emotion when it comes up in your life. And the reason I wanted to kind of address this topic is because if you may have noticed, for the past 3 weeks, there's been a lot of energy that's coming into the planet. The way that these symptoms manifest themselves is you may feel a lot more energetic than usual. You may feel like you're in a state of being irritated, or as though you have to kind of do something, expend energy. You feel like you just have to do something, right? It's very difficult for you to just sit still. I've been feeling this for the past 3 weeks. And so I want to make this video to kind of address this issue of where this energy may be coming from, and how you should deal with it when it comes up in your life. And so basically, the emotion of anger, right? It contains a lot of inherent energy inside that emotion itself. When you're angry, typically you want to lash out, right? It's like, let's say, for example, someone slaps you across the face. In that moment, just you receive this surge of energy that just comes up. And most likely you're going to feel like this desire to want to lash out at someone or something, most likely the person who just hit you, right? You want to lash out at them. And so this energy kind of just seemingly comes from nowhere, right? It just magically pops out. And it's very difficult to control if you're not aware of its function. A lot of people think of anger as something that is negative, right? It's something that ruins your life. It's something that you'd be better off without. But what anger really is kind of like a directional waypoint that's telling you that how you're being treated, whether it's the behavior or the person you're speaking to, it just basically is telling you from a very deep soul level is that the behavior that you are currently being subject to is something that you disagree with. If you agreed with the way someone is speaking to you, or if you agreed with the way that you're being treated, you're probably not going to feel very angry, right? You'd feel at peace, you'd feel content, you'd feel like, oh, this is okay, right? I agree with this behavior. I agree with the way that this person is treating me, because they're treating me in a respectful manner, right? They are, respecting my boundaries. They are being polite. They are not overstepping themselves or, being a jerk. But then the moment that these boundaries are crossed, like if someone hits you without your permission, then all of a sudden the emotion of anger steps in. And this emotion is basically trying to tell you that, hey, one of your boundaries is being crossed, and you, as a person, are not reinforcing that boundary. You're just letting it occur without any sort of repercussion, right? You're just allowing this person, basically what the emotion of anger is saying is that you are allowing others to step on you and treat you as someone lower than what you actually are. Treating you like basically a doormat, right? Where people just step on you and they don't treat you with respect. They don't treat you as the infinite God consciousness that you are, right? And so the emotion of anger is basically saying, I am an important person. Why are you letting this person treat us in that manner, right? That is what the emotion of anger is typically, that is its function if we're looking at it from a biological standpoint, right? Omit what society has taught you about what anger is as an emotion, Because as you know, if you listen to your anger in today's current society, you'll get in trouble, even if you're not the person that's causing uh, that emotion to arise, right? Even if you're like not the assailant, because the law, if you attack someone, they basically see you as a criminal. But from a biological standpoint, going all the way back to, let's say, our primitive caveman ancestors, the emotion of anger is very important to ensure one's survival, right? When you meet, let's say you come across a saber-toothed tiger and he's growling at you, right? In that moment, as a caveman, you're either going to feel fear or you are going to feel anger. And if you feel anger, it's because maybe you feel as though you have to fight this tiger that's in front of you, right? And so you need that surge of energy in order to help you overcome this problem. Or maybe as a caveman, you're just like, I'm just trying to live my life, and this tiger comes out of nowhere and he's disrespecting me, right? He's growling at me, he's making faces at me, he looks like he wants to eat me for lunch. Like, I'm not someone's lunch, right? I'm a living human being, and I deserve to be treated better, right? If you want to, turn me to lunch against my will, then we are going to have a problem, and we are going to have to fight about it. And so that is what the emotion of anger is basically saying, right? It's saying, I have a problem with whatever is in front of me right now, whether it's how someone is treating me, how they're speaking to me, how they're behaving. And at the same time, it can also come from our own perceptions, right? If we misunderstand what the other person is trying to say, we can react with anger, even though the person's intentions may not be to offend us or anything. We will still react with anger because in our minds we can kind of perceive it as, we are not being treated the way that we would like to be treated, which is with dignity and respect. There's an old saying, right? It's like, you can take anything you want away from a man, just don't take away his dignity, because that means more to him than it will mean to you. And so the easiest way, if you want to make someone angry, is just basically take away their dignity, right? And in that moment, they're basically forced to do one of two things, which is they'll either lash out, fight against you, and say, that is not the way I want to be treated, right? I have dignity. They will basically resist. The other way they can react is they can just accept it, which is something a lot of people in society today they've become accustomed to that kind of behavior, right? Accepting whatever is thrown their way without any sort of lashing out or resistance or rebellion against how they're being treated. You can see this with like a lot of, let's say, corporate workers, right? Their bosses yelling at them, treating them like trash, and basically, criticizing them for things that are out of their control. In the moment, that employee is not going to feel very, happy and joyful and gratitude, right? He's going to feel resentment and anger. It's just that he has to suppress it, right? Because he wants to keep his job. He can't yell back at his boss. He's going to get fired. And so when that anger is repressed, it turns into resentment, but it doesn't go away. It gets stored inside your body, in your, I guess, second chakra, which is located in your stomach. And so that energy, because it's suppressed, it has nowhere to go. And so we may get triggered by an event, external event, that makes us angry, and then all of a sudden, all of that energy starts rising up again. And that makes us feel, angry and irritated. Then, like, we have a lot of energy that we need to just get out of our system, but we just don't know how. Which is why at the beginning of this video, I was talking about the amount of energy that is now coming into the planet. You may feel these emotions of feeling very energetic or irritated, because that may point towards feelings of resentment that you're storing within your body, right? That you're storing in your second chakra that you need to kind of deal with and get out. This mostly has to do with, especially if you had some kind of trauma in your life. Let's say there's a moment in your life where you had to, let's say your parent yelled at you, right, when you were a kid, and you felt very angry and you felt this like resentment towards them. But because you're a kid, you can't yell back at your parents. They're bigger than you. They can out-yell you, right? And so as a survival mechanism, what you had to do was you had to just kind of suppress it and hold it down. And what it means, but with all the energy that is coming into the planet now, what it means is that you can no longer really suppress that energy. It's rising out from your system. It wants to go somewhere and it's trying to tell you, hey, remember that moment when we were treated unfairly and like you didn't do anything about it? Well, I'm going to bring up those emotions again because, in this moment, whatever the event that is triggering you is triggering the same amount of emotions, right? So it's basically saying, remember that time where we had to suppress our feelings of worthiness and dignity in the past when we were yelled at as a kid. Well, now we're doing the exact same thing in the scenario that we're currently facing. Are you going to continue to let the world treat you this way? And if you choose to do nothing and just accept the situation, then you're going to keep running into this situation over and over again where your resentment is going to come boiling back to the surface whenever something triggers you, until you learn to stand up for yourself and to respect your own dignity. So that's what I basically want to say when it comes to the emotions of anger. It's not so much something to be frowned upon, which is what a lot of people kind of say. They're like, control your emotions, right? Don't feel anger. Let it pass. Feel at peace. It's not so much trying to ignore the emotion as paying attention to the emotion, finding out why you're feeling that way, which is most likely repressed resentment, and then dealing with it, right? Coming to peace with how you were dealt with in the past, learning from that mistake, and then applying the lesson to your current life now, which is enforcing your boundaries and ensuring that the way you are treated does not require you to lower one's dignity. I know personally for me, right? Whenever I feel like my dignity has to be lowered, I'm gonna feel feelings of anger, right? So like, for example, let's say you are at a restaurant and you order your meal, right? Normally the way you accept your meal is that the waiter will bring you your food, put it on the table in front of you, right? What if the waiter just one day just came over to you, dropped your food onto the floor, and was just like, here you go, dog, eat it, right? You're gonna feel feelings of anger. You're gonna feel feelings of resentment, right? Your dignity is gonna come to the surface and be like, hey, you don't treat me that way. I am not a dog. Like, I am not gonna eat this food that's off the floor, right? It's dirty. There's a lot of like things going on in that moment. So then are you going to accept it, or are you going to resist it or rebel against what is going on and stick up for yourself, right? That's where the feelings of anger and resentment come in. It's almost like your emotions, your body is giving you, because when you're in that state of anger, you get a surge of energy. It's like your body is saying, here is a surge of energy. I want you to do something with it, right? Here is the energy that you need to enforce your own dignity and your own boundaries. Please use it. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose respect for you, and you're gonna lose respect for yourself, and we don't want that, right? We are God consciousness. We are someone that is important, and we need to start realizing that. That's basically what your emotions and your body are trying to tell you. But if you continue to ignore it, then you're gonna basically grow to resent yourself and have negative feelings towards yourself, right? You're gonna have in your mind, you're gonna keep having doubts about yourself, what you can do, what you can't do. You may unconsciously sabotage yourself when you're on the path to success because those feelings of resentment come in, and they're like, hey, remember that time that you were treated, this way? What makes you think that we deserve like this amount of success? And then so that resentment, because it was not able to maintain its, like, I guess, status in terms of dignity, it does so by attacking itself, which is attacking you and sabotaging your own success. That could also be attributed to the ego, but I'll talk about that another day. For now, I think that's enough for this video when it comes to the feelings of anger. And if you're feeling that way, most likely it comes from resentment within yourself. And so you need to do the inner work of just looking within, seeing where it comes from, dealing with it, coming to peace with it, and realizing that it is your friend and it's not your enemy. So I hope you got a lot of value out of this video. Let me know if there's any other kind of topics that you'd like me to talk about. And if you don't know, I currently have started streaming. I don't know if it'll be a weekly thing. I'm trying to make it a weekly thing, but I also got a new camera, as you can see. So we are setting ourselves up for something big to come in the future, hopefully, from this channel or any of the work that I do. So that's it from me. My name is Brian. I hope you have a lovely, wonderful day filled with peace and joy. And I will see you in the next video or my next live stream, which might be tomorrow if I wake up on time. That's it for me. Peace out.